Welcome, you have reached Imperial Reviews, and today's review is BMF Season 4, Episode 1. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, let's get into it. Now, with all the turmoil that's been happening over the last few months leading up to this moment, we didn't know what to expect. So we know that Season 4 was already done. And when I say turmoil, we're talking about the beef between Big Meech release and 50 Cent. Big Meech taking a picture with 50 Cent. 50 Cent feeling some type way. And then you got Little Meech, who's playing his dad in the series, you know, confiding in 50 Cent, pretty much telling 50 Cent you know, his dad needed some money, so that's why he was in the picture with Rick Ross. And then everything went downhill. 50 Cent posted the texts that Lil Meech sent them, and then from there, Big Meech and Lil Meech retaliated, taking pictures with Floyd Mayweather. Lil Meech showing up to games with Floyd Mayweather, taking pictures with Rick Ross and Floyd. And there's just been, and then 50 Cent coming out saying, showing some type of paperwork or whatever, saying that, alleging that Meech was giving Tammy information to lock Cuffy up, and just a whole bunch of BS. And 50 Cent put something out making it seem like he was going to have Tammy do an interview. Now maybe that was true, false, never came out. Time has passed, so it's like water underneath the bridge now. Maybe the execs at Star said you're going to mess this, the BMF. We still got a season to promote. So basically what they did was they, it never came out. But it really wasn't no promotion for this, pushing this season either. So this really could be the end. They just want to get through this, the viewership and get it done. I really don't like how the first episode, took off. They brought Lamar back. They brought B. Mickey back. And I think it's bull with the Lamar. At least bring Lamar. It's been always known that Lamar, they're the real character. Always been a pain in BMF's side. Their whole lives. So I guess they brought them back to antagonize them. But that's corny. That just doesn't seem realistic. Or it's further promoting that the BMF, they wasn't real. They wasn't killers. They wasn't killers. They were just getting to the money. And so by them not being killers, that's why he was able to leave. Because it doesn't seem like it's no way that you have this guy that's antagonizing y'all for so many years and y'all just didn't get him out of the way. That doesn't make no sense. Being that the lifestyle that they running with all the money that they getting. So nevertheless, let's go over the sequences. This episode is called Graduation Day. Graduation from little sister Nikki. She's the first Flannery to graduate. Of course, they thought Terry was going to be it. He got into the business. So the episode starts off with Meech and Terry in Mexico, and they were getting shot at, and then Meech was pretty much escaped. I guess he was somewhere. I think he might have been locked up or wherever, but he escaped, and they were getting shot at, and then they end up on the desert. Meech got bit by a snake, so that's a flashback, and then it shows the Mexican bald head guy. I can't think of his name right now, but he pretty much went to go get help while Terry consoled Meech. But it went back into that was a flashback, but then it showed Terry's at the casino, gambling. He's trying to gain money. The St. Louis is not giving up their portion of the money to Terry because their business is with Meech. So they ain't willing to do no business with Terry Terry feeling some type of way, and so basically they told Terry, you gotta come earn it, you know, come get your money if you feel some type of way. So you had that going on. Then you had, the Flannerys is they all geek Nikki's graduation. Nobody sent Meech in like 6 months, so this is 6 months past. Terry pretty much said, he's alright. So you ain't know what to think. And then it showed Lamar. Lamar has been in rehab, trying to get over rehab. Pretty much he said he kicked his addiction and said nothing's going to beat him. When he said that, I said, yo, this dude's Gary get out of rehab and go try to go after Meech and him again. That's a corny dialogue. I guess the viewers, we'll see how the rest of everybody take it. The viewers don't want to see that same old storyline with him again. Like, that actor that plays Lamar was a good for the show, but him just antagonizing him and stuff like that, that's corny or whatever. So, you had, what's her name? Latasi, what's her name is, Latanya, whatever her name is. The character, Lala, is paying. Nevertheless, she comes to Terry and pretty much telling Terry she want to be a boss, and if she gonna be underneath him, she need to be looked at as a boss. Pretty much nobody's gonna respect her as a boss. They're gonna look at her as not take her serious. She's just a pretty face. So she pretty much was telling Terry, listen, if I'm not going to, if you're not going to do it for me, I'm going to have to go get somebody else that believe me. Shows her go to the jail cell, and she's going to visit her husband, who she's still married with, and pretty much get him to pair her down with somebody. She goes and finds somebody that's connected into the records office, telling her she needs to stand up and she want to see people shine, and she's more to it than just doing records. So this is where it's supposed to be in real life, in a real story, where she does play a key role in the expansion of BMF. It was a moment where they needed to connect, and she filled in or whatever. So I guess they're building up for this right here. So the graduation came, and it showed Meech wasn't there, and now it was the graduation party. Then you had the mom. She's Gary become the pastor of the church. The dad is Gary go back on the road. So Meech shows up to the graduation party, and the little sister Nikki wanted to get on there and thank everybody and tell everybody she's going to college, Morehouse in Atlanta, and Meech show up. And she's closer to Meech than with Terry, and he showed up. He bought her a car. Him and Terry pretty much had this look, just looking at each other. So something happened in Mexico, but it's what all this is doing is building up for the ongoing feud between Meech and Terry. So nevertheless, Terry's boys got a hold of I can't think of his name. I don't know if this is supposed to be J-Bo from St. Louis, but the guy from St. Louis. He's not named J-Bo on the show, but nevertheless, he was in town. He's in there. Terry pretty much telling him, like, yo, where's the money or whatever. And he pretty much don't respect Terry. Treating Terry like a stooge or whatever. So Meech arrives. Of course, every time he show up, everybody show him love. Everybody is in tune. And so when he show up, Meech was pretty much like, yo, I got the money from him. That's the only reason why he showed up, because he showed up for me. Basically, like, little brother, like, you ain't nobody, son of him. So nevertheless, they had some words, and then Terry and Meech start fighting, and then Terry kicked everybody out of the shop or whatever, and then Meech called him pussy or whatever. So after that, well, that was pretty much Meech and Terry linked up again, and when they linked up again to exchange the bag and the money and everything like that, somebody started shooting at them. Now, one part I failed to mention, at the party, at Nikki's graduation party, B. Mickey showed up. He pretty much still close to the family, regardless of, they didn't, they looked at him as being a snitch or whatever. He showed up to give Nikki a card, and the mom pretty much thanked him. But Terry and Meech was like standoffish from him. So now let's fast forward back to Meech and Terry doing an exchange, and now they're getting shot at. They don't know who getting shooting at them. Then all of a sudden, they try to run into a store. They couldn't run into the store, nowhere to run. And it's Lamar. He was the one shooting at him. He got the gun aimed at him, and if he looking like he's going to finish him off, and then he takes 2 shots to the shoulder, and it's B. Mickey shooting him. And so B. Mickey shot him. He dropped. Terry and Meech, and of course Meech told B. Mickey like, "Yo, what you doing here? We ain't, we don't need your help or whatever." He looking at it like, "I just saved your life." And they jumped in the car, sped off. And so by the time they flashed the camera back at the scene, it was just a puddle of blood, and Lamar left off again. Like, come on, this dude got 9 lives or whatever. So nevertheless, from there, then you had it showed a flashback of back in Mexico when Meech was out of it from the poison from the snake, and a guy showed up. The bald-head guy, Mexican guy, showed up with a guy that did a spiritual or whatever, a ritual on Meech, and he said some words, basically said Meech was going to be like the Black Pablo Escobar. And Meech was feeling all that, and Terry was like, "Nah, man, we ain't with this satanic stuff, with these rituals. We with the Lord and God and all that." And so he's trying to tell him that, and then these wolves started to show up, and then they pretty much scared the wolves off. And then it showed Officer Bryant in counseling meetings. Show Officer Bryant in counselor meetings, grieving over his son. Of course, his son got killed or whatever. So other than that, that was the episode. It is back. There's no real promotion for this. I guess they're just gonna get through the season, see what it is. They brought back Lamar and B. Mickey. I don't know that whole storyline with Lamar. What's the purpose? Don't nobody want to see this whole season with Lamar just antagonizing them the whole season. I think that's corny or whatever. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.